Greetings from the Philippines to the world. It's September 22, 5 p.m. here in Manila, and we are on on Facebook Live on Eagle News, and also watch this video on eaglenewslive.com. I am Cesar Vallejos. We are open for business. Join me discover the latest news and information and business around the world. Stay ahead of the curve from vision to action. The success of a business is inextricably linked to the performance of the supply chain. In a survey, 50% of businesses, regardless of their size, fail or close down within 5 years of launch, and supply chain performance contributed to the business failure. While supply chain strategy is critical to business success, it is often underestimated and the least understood among other areas of business operation. What exactly is supply chain and procurement's role to the success of businesses operating in today's local and global markets? Can supply chain and procurement really make or break a business organization? Let's ask someone later who has an extensive experience in supply chain and procurement and contracts management in the diversified fields of power and utilities, construction, EPC, oil and gas, and mining industry. We will be talking to the President and CEO of the Craig Construction and Industrial Plant Services and the proprietor of Beldia Industrial Supplies, Mr. Cesar Caraig. Open for business, and with me is the President and CEO of the Craig Construction and Industrial Plant Services and the proprietor of Beldia Industrial Supplies. Thank you for coming, Cesar.
My pleasure.
Okay. We are very, as I mentioned in the introduction earlier, it can make or break business operation when we talk about supply chain and procurement. Before we go into the details of how important it really is, what exactly is supply chain?
Well, to put it simply, supply chain is just movement of materials or services from point A to point B. Now, we are all supply chain managers in our own right. Nung bata tayo, we were taught, we were sent by our parents to do errands, to buy. Luluto kong adobo, you buy me suka, you buy me toyo, you buy me paminta, and you go to the sari-sari store, you go there, and you have to purchase the exact thing that your mother taught you to buy.
Okay.
Or else she can't finish the food.
Exactly. So she cannot produce anything.
Correct, correct. So it's just a matter of you getting the right time, the right item, on the right time, and the right price.
Oh, that's very interesting. So that's a very, very good analogy.
Yeah, just a simple analogy.
Yeah, it's a simple analogy. So what exactly would be the role of the one who is asked to go to a store? So is that the person who is the supply he is the supply manager or supply management person?
Yeah, that's a misnomer for a supply chain manager.
Okay.
Others think that as a supply chain manager, you just do the buying, you just negotiate with suppliers. It's not that simple.
Okay.
Well, if you're a supply chain manager, you look at the whole picture. Yeah. What's the total cost of ownership? How do you get it from point A to point B,
Mm-hmm.
what's the value and what's the delivery time. So it's not just the purchase, not that just a price which you are concerned of. You're also concerned about the quality and the exactness of the specification that you purchase.
So that's very interesting. So you mentioned about the idea of quality, and of course you also mentioned about the cost. The costs, and most of the businesses now are looking at cost effectiveness, cost efficiency. So, what is exactly the role of procurement and the supply chain manager in making sure that quality is being adhered to, and also the other one that I mentioned, it's the timeliness or cost effectiveness in the role of the supply chain manager.
Yeah, let's go to a specific sample. Like, let's go to the industry of the power industry.
Okay.
For power plants. It is important that you purchase the right item at the right time. But purchasing is not only the point where you just buy the item.
Correct.
It is important that the planning comes before you purchase the item. So the planning, strategical planning, you have to come up with critical list of the materials that you need, the items that support the power plant. This is not something that only the procurement manager would handle. This should be a collegial decision by the end users, the technical people, the finance team, and of course the procurement manager will only handle the negotiation and the contracts. But procurement and supply chain goes beyond the buying. It involves the planning, the right identification of the item, and you have to know exactly what's the life of the item that you purchase. Example, you're buying filters for a power plant.
Okay.
All power plants have filters. Now, as the supply chain manager, he has to identify what's the life cycle of each part. Let's say
Because if he fails to do that, what happens?
What happens is that you're putting the power plant in a risk. Because if there's a failure in supply chain and there's no spare parts, then that's brownout for the whole country, and that's no money for the power plant.
And that's additional cost because you have to invest or replace that.
Not only additional cost, but as a power plant, you have commitments to the people. You have to give power. You have a franchise from the government for you to give service to the people. So you're answerable to the people. So it's not a matter. That's not like just a business thing. It's a commitment that you provide to the people. So you have to come up with the proper planning. It's good that it's now being developed. Probably 20 years ago, supply chain procurement is just one of the it's relegated to the back office.
Correct. Or it's a part or a function of admin or
That is
finance.
correct. That's correct.
Okay.
But when the multinational came in, multinational companies came in, they introduced this concept that a supply chain manager has to be professional. Like for us, we were engineers and we were assigned to be procurement engineers. At the time, I didn't really know what a procurement engineer was.
I see.
Because I just needed the job. I said, okay, I'll take the job. But there, I learned that it's not, the procurement is a very challenging job. Although what my boss says is that it's a thankless thing. A thankless, nobody will thank you for having your items
Correct.
delivered the right time, but everybody will be blaming you for the delays.
Correct.
So it developed already now to a more professional organization or a career for supply chain professionals now.
I noticed, Cesar, that your experience is in various industries. You have experience with in the field of power and utilities, construction, mining industry, oil and gas, and all these activities from construction management to contract negotiation to strategic sourcing. is there a specific setup for each industry as far as supply chain, yes, supply chain and procurement is concerned, or it varies from industry to industry?
Well, I was fortunate when I was hired by one of the multinational companies, Leighton Contractors.
Okay.
I had no knowledge of procurement, although I used to have my own company before I entering the corporate world. So I know how to negotiate contracts, I know how to purchase things, but the systematic procurement, I didn't know that. So I learned that from the multinational companies. And then it gave me also experience and skill set to move to other industry. I worked after Leighton Contractors. I worked with an EPC contractor, and we built a small power plant. After that, moved to a real power plant that I procured and managed the supply chain.
So far, with your experience in the various industries, what are the major challenges that you have encountered? And if you can share the best practices that you have experienced in these industries.
Well, for the Philippines, the challenge would be we are in an archipelago.
Okay.
So being an archipelago, delivering from point A to point B is not that easy. It's not so simple.
Exactly.
You don't have, even if you have big trucks, you cannot deliver just to
Yes.
one island to another island. So
And is it adding costs because of our
it is adding
geographic
costs. It is
character?
adding costs. And another challenge is that we have Philippines have a weak manufacturing sector.
Okay.
Most of the things that we use for the industry are purchased from abroad. So if you do this, then you incur higher cost. The delivery period is also longer than the normal. Like if you're a power plant based in the States, and you need a small item, then you can get it from the stores, from the shelves. But here you have to order from the States and have it delivered to Manila, go through the customs, and go to the
Yes.
logistics companies.
Yes.
So-
and I'm sure there's a lot of
Costs are
red
not
tape
enough.
involved on it.
Wow,
Okay,
yeah.
but before Mr. Craig tells us of other challenges and opportunities in
Yeah.
the supply chain and procurement industry, let's pause for these reminders. Open for Business. We'll be back. We're back here on Open for Business, and with us is the president and CEO of Craig, and also the proprietor of Buildia. We were talking earlier about the challenges. So first, you mentioned about the Philippine archipelago, and there's a challenge of moving materials from point A to point B. So aside from that, as a challenge, also you mentioned about us exporting a lot of materials importing materials from different countries. What else are the challenges in the Philippine supply chain?
One of the challenges probably would be we do not have unlike other countries, you have real education, college education specifically for supply chain. In the Philippines, we do not have that course or major for
I
supply
see.
chain.
Okay.
There are some schools offering logistics management, but this is only part of the supply chain industry. So
I
this
see.
is not, doesn't cover everything. So this is one thing that needs to be developed.
I see. And also, I noticed that you are affiliated with the Philippine Institute of Supply Management. Are there specific industry activities or projects to professionalize the service?
Yeah, that's correct. These organizations like PISM, they offer continuing studies for but these are more of seminars to upgrade the knowledge and of the buyers or the supply chain professionals. But yeah, it helps a lot that you have organizations like this who helps the industry. They also sponsor some meetings, some conferences where you get to meet people in the same industry. So you share knowledge and share business with them too.
Mhm. Now that I mentioned earlier in my introduction that it can make or break a business operation. So, what do we see as the one of the biggest or a list of the many opportunities in this industry, in the supply chain and procurement, so that it will ensure the success of a business?
Yeah, that is one reason why I put up building industrial supply. Why
Okay.
I put up my own company.
Yes.
I've seen that there was a need for more professional supply companies.
Okay.
Because in the Philippines, it's normally that we have trading companies who only cater to a particular item or equipment. There's no
Okay.
such. I mean, there's a limited number of companies that really supply things and they know these things technically.
Okay.
So I decided to put on my own company because I think there's a need for more professional supply chain companies.
So in short, it does not only cater to a specific industry.
Yes,
Okay.
we
What categories do you cater to?
Yeah, we do supply to mining companies,
Okay.
to power plants, also to construction and manufacturing sector. There's also opportunities for logistics. A lot of even though there are a lot of big companies here, logistics companies here, there's still some need for new players to come in. And there's also probably an opportunity for companies to put up warehouses. These warehouses would be a sort of a staging area.
Okay.
Like say if your project is in Mindanao, and since all the materials are coming from Manila, then you put up a staging area, where's in Manila, put it there, and then you process the deliveries to Mindanao. That's how you do it. So
How do you now differentiate between a staging area and a warehouse or a logistical
This is a warehouse. You have to take care. It's something there for a long time.
Okay.
It's for all your own use.
Okay.
But
Whereas,
this is a staging area. You just put it there, stock it there, and then probably for dispatching the next day or the next 3 days or whatever schedule you have.
oh, interesting. So you also have, aside from Bildia, you also have another construction.
That's a construction company. I also saw that there was a need for a specialization for construction,
Okay.
for power plants and some industry like mining.
Oh.
So we put up that it was really upon the prodding of the end users, the clients. They said, Cesar, why don't you put up your own construction company? Since you supply this, we want you to install this too. So for us to do that, we put up this company. So it's more of the demand that really push us to put up this company.
With your experience in these two companies, what do you think are the, in terms of profitability, is this one of the businesses that aspiring entrepreneurs can go into, or similar to the other businesses, you have to have that passion for you to go into this, or do you need a very, very special skill? Like in your case, you are an engineer by profession, and then you have to train yourself into the supply chain and procurement business for you to be able to deliver what the market requires.
Well, if we talk about if you say this is about letters A to Z, passion can only bring you up to letter E.
Okay.
Because there will be failures. So what you probably need is really a technical know-how. Because without the technical know-how and the
Yes.
preparation for the business, you cannot really maintain the business with your clients. Because in our business, it's a one miss and you die.
Okay.
Because let's say you're supplying ₱1 million worth of an item that will support a power plant outage, and if you do not deliver that in time, then the power plant loses millions of pesos every hour.
Wow.
So if you fail to deliver, then the next thing you hear is that you'll be blacklisted by the company.
I see.
So you have to be prepared. It's not about just making money. It's really about fulfilling your commitments. There are times that we have transactions with the clients that we're not really making money. Like we know that we miscalculated some prices. we lost some money there, but we need to fulfill the commitments.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about commitments. Business is about commitments. It's not just about making money and just establishing relationship with your clients.
That's good. That's good to know. So, being an entrepreneur and someone who has built these businesses, what are your tips to supply chain managers and maybe professionals who want to delve into these types of business?
Um, well, you said you need passion. Yes, you need passion, perseverance, and of course you need also the technical know-how. Definitely, I always repeat that you need the technical know-how to support your business, because without technical know-how, someone will come to compete with you, offering lower prices. But if you cannot back it up with a good technical know-how, then the lower price would be nothing. It's about total cost of ownership. It's about the added value that you bring to the company.
And I also failed to ask earlier about how technology is redefining all industries. We have a lot of startups. We have a lot of new innovations in terms of software and hardware. How are you tapping all these new technologies as far as procurement is concerned? I know that with government and some private sector, they are now into automating it. So how are you making use of these technological advancements?
Well, big companies, multinational companies have SAPs. This is a program where everything is linked from maintenance to material management to finance. So this is a good development for companies, even for procurement, because it links from the maintenance to the finance. So you can really see from just looking at the program what you need and what's your really standing for the cash. I mean, for the financial standing. So there are a lot. There's also lots of technologies for that's being like smart technologies, simple technologies, but it's a big help to the industry. Let's say about this delivery apps.
Okay, yes, correct.
I will not mention the company because they get a free.
That's
free.
right.
But yeah, it's a lot of help. If you have a lot of deliveries, but you don't have trucks that much, you can use them. So technology will really help you.
I also noticed, Cesar, that you travel a lot because a lot of your businesses, your establishments and your clients are in different parts of the country. So is there also a change as far as culture is concerned that affects the supply chain and procurement? Like, is it easier to buy there or to manage logistics in the Visayas or Mindanao region than in Manila?
No, my purpose for going to the projects is that I need to show my face to the clients.
Okay.
Whatever technology that comes in, you cannot replace that with a human relationship.
I see.
Because here in the
Correct.
Philippines, especially for the Philippines, business is about the personal relationship with your clients. Even though you're the best supplier and the probably best technical people in the industry, but you don't satisfy your clients and not show your face there. It creates a different environment between you and the client. So you have to be there. You show your commitment, even if you don't need to be there. But you have a project there. You show your commitment by being there. There's some small problems. You have to show them that you are on top of the situation. That you're not belittling the problem, and you're there to personally handle the problem.
Which is which leads me to my question that asks you about how important is creating these relationships to ensure that you have a very well managed supply chain and procurement. What's the interplay of a good relationship with the system?
I already mentioned that we have to give importance to the clients, relationship with the clients.
Yes.
But it is more important to give weight to the relationship with your employees,
Okay.
because your employees
Yes.
are the mirror of yourself to the client, and there are times what your employee does is reflects to your company. So no matter how angry you are or disappointed you are with your people, you need to be fair with them. You need to be considerate. So they will also be considerate of you. And sa Pilipino ang tawag natin may malasakit sa trabaho.
That's very well said, and I think that's the best way to end this conversation. We hope to learn more from Mr. Cesar Caraig, the President and CEO of the Craig Construction and the proprietor of Buildia. We hope that we can come up with another episode so that we can discuss more of the latest trends in terms of procurement and supply chain here in the Philippines, not only here in the Philippines, but abroad. And thank you for watching. We'll still be back with the term of the week and our inspiring words when Open for Business returns. Stay tuned. Thank you, Cesar.
Thank you.